Rabbi Yochanan, my dechsiv aser taser. Aser taser. You have to give tithes. Aser, so the Gemara says the Lashon aser taser. So the Gemara says in Daf Tes Aleph in Taanis aser b'shul shetis asher. Give a tithe b'shul shetis asher. You will become wealthy. Ashka Rabbi Yochanan the Yanuka de Rish Lakish. Rabbi Yochanan found the son of Rish Lakish. Amar le'emeli psukecha. Tell me a pasuk. Amar le'aser ta'aser. That's what the pasuk he was learning in Cheder Vayschles. Amar le'may aser ta'aser. What is aser ta'aser? What is it? Amar le'aser b'shol shetes asher. Says Amar Le, the Yanuka says to Rabbi Yochanan, what does it mean? Amar Le, so Rabbi Yochanan answered it back, give a tithe in order to become wealthy. Amar Le Menolach, Amar Le Zil, Nasi, try it out. If you give Maaser, you'll try it out and you'll be wealthy. Amar Le Mishar Le Nasir LaKodesh Baruch Hu. So the Yanuka, the child asked Rabbi Yochanan, his uncle, can one test the Rebbeinu Shalom? Surely, Yanuki. Surely, Nasui, can you test the Rebbeinu Shalom? V'chsiv lo shenaso Hashem lakechem etzalav. You're not allowed to test the Rebbeinu Shalom. Omer lehochi amar Rabbeinu chutz mizu. Accepting this, shenamar chaviyu es ko Maaser abeisa oiser v'yiteref bevesi v'chanuni no bezeis. Omer Hashem tzabakas. You can test me out on this. You can test me out. If a person gives Maaser, he will become wealthy. That's what the Gemara says. I will open for you the gates of heaven. Okay, that's what the Gemara says. So Tesis, first of all, over here in Daf Tes, Tesis wants to know if that halacha of giving Maaser is only by Tevuah, because the pasuk is speaking about Maaser on Tevuah, on what you grow in the fields. Whatever grows in the fields, you're mechuyev trumas ha'maisos. Trumas ha'maisos. So, there's halacha, give Maaser in order you should become wealthy. So Taisa says, aser ta'aser. Taisa asks the question, makes a statement. How do you know other profit-making investments? Tamalom es kol. It should have said Estivoscha. My coal, what is the expression? Coal. Larabos, ribis, kamachi, b'chol davar, shemavich. Anything which can make money, if you give a tithe of your money, the halach is you will become wealthy. That's the Gemara. Okay, this is a machlekes over here in Rishonim. This is a big machlekes over here. If this halach is min haraisa, giving Maaser, people give Maaser money. So some say, Pashtus, from this thesis, it's mashma, that giving Maaser is is obligatory. Just like giving Maaser from one's grains and one's tevuah, there's also mechuyev to give Maaser from one's money. That means whatever a person makes in the year is mechuyev to give Maaser. Some say that's a diraisa. From thesis, it's mashma, it's a drasha gemara. One. Some people say it's a rabbanan. You're not chuyev midiraisa. Midiraisa, you're only mechuyev to give Maaser on your grains. And again, the grains have to be grown in Eretz Yisrael. If you grow them in some place in London or whatever it is outside Eretz Yisrael, there's no chiyuv trumas ha'maisos outside of Eretz Yisrael. But midrabanan, you're mechuyev to give Maaser from all your profits. The profits that you make, you're mechuyev to give Maaser. And some say it's a minik. It's a minik to give. It's not midrabanan. It's a minik. It's a machlekes over here. Whether you're allowed to give or you're not allowed to give, whether you're mechuyev to give Maaser from other things, tesis, from the lashon of tesis is mashma, even other things also, anything that makes profits, you're mechuyev to give Maaser. However, as I said before, some say it's only midrabanan, and other people say it's only a minik. The iker chiyuv minatera to give Maaser is only from the produce that you produce in Eretz Yisrael. Then you're mechuyev to give Maaser. Anything else, you're not mechuyev to give Maaser. Minatera. Okay. Rabbanan, maybe you are, and some say it's only in a minute. What's a nafkamina if minatera? A person can always give Maaser, or can give tzedakah. What's a nafkamina? So we have a different problem. Is a person, here it says, a gewaltige chidush. a person is allowed to give Maaser money and test the Ribbeinu Shalom if the Ribbeinu Shalom is if you're going to have a good return. Torah Akdosh says, Lo Sanasu, you're not allowed to test the Ribbeinu Shalom. You have to do mitzvahs because the Torah Akdosh said you have to do mitzvahs. And the schar, we know, Perlman, what do we know? You get schar, not in this world, you get schar in the next world, so you get schar. Here, it says aser to aser. If you give money, you'll get schar in this world. You get your money back. You get your money back plus. I lo senasu. You're not allowed to test the Ribbeinu Shalom. Ribbeinu Shalom is going to pay you. He's going to pay you in the world to come, not in this world. So Shteit, it's a special halacha. It says in the pasuk, I just read you the pasuk, Los haviu es koa Maaser beis ha'itzer. Bring all the Maaser beis ha'itzer. V'iter bebeisi. It should be food in my house, Ribbeinu Shalom says, in the Beis HaMikdash. Uv'chanuni nabazos. Ribbeinu says, you can test me. Chanuni nabazos. Am Hashem tzavokas. Im lo eftach lachem es arubas hashamayim. I'm going to open up the gates of heaven. You have rain. You have everything that you need. Varikosi lachem brachad b'lidai. You're going to get brachad b'lidai. You're going to get astounding results. Astounding results. So it's a special gzeros hakosim that you're allowed to test the Ribbeinu Shalom. Okay? So otherwise, you're not allowed to do things to test the Ribbeinu Shalom. No, if you're not allowed to do the things to test the Ribbeinu Shalom, can you test the Ribbeinu Shalom by giving Maaser Ksofim? That's the shayla. That's a important place. Give the shayla. If we say Maaser Ksofim is also chiyuv min haTorah, Maaser Ksofim is chiyuv min haTorah, just like Maaser Tvua is chiyuv min haTorah. So Maaser Ksofim, like from the Tesis, is Masha. So you can test the Ribbeinu Shalom on that too. I'm going to lay down the money, and I can test the Ribbeinu Shalom and b'chulu. If I say no, then Maaser Ksofim is not a chiyuv min haTorah. It's only midrabanan, and or it's only a chiyuv a minig. Like some people, some places can say it's a minig. So I'm not allowed to test the Ribbeinu Shalom. I'm not allowed to test the Ribbeinu Shalom. So this is a machlekes. The Shulchan Aruch. The Shulchan Aruch. In Siman Reish Mem Zayin, in Hilchos Yerideo, so the Mechaber says, "Hatzdoke doiches hagzeres hakoshes." Tzdoke pushes away the gzeres koshes, the severe degree. Uvarov tatzam imovis. We say tzdoke tatzam imovis. We say by what's his name? Tshuva, tzedakah, tefillah, mavir miserom hagzera. As they state, and every yid davens this on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Kamo she'ira, hagor. V'hi maasers, v'osel anasel HaKadosh Baruch Hu kim b'dover zeh. We'll be medayik in the Ramah. State HaChidush, zok the Ramah, when the Ramah says that tzedakah is deiches hagzeres, so the Ramah writes, it's only referring to Maasers. Maasers, again, is in produce. And the produce is where? In Eretz Yisrael. Because we're not speaking about produce in Chutz La'aretz. We're speaking about produce in Eretz Yisrael. So tzedakah is deiches hagzeres. So the Ramah writes, that's only Maasers. And you're allowed to test the Ribbeinu Shalom on that. V'yesh ha'imim, it's like the Ramah, Davke b'nesinas Maaser mutir l'nasa Kodesh Baruch Hu. Avalo b'shar tzedakah. Okay, so here you have a machlekes. One man Yom holds even tzedakahs you can do it. That's money. If the person wants to give Maaser Ksofim is also mutir l'nasas. And the Ramah says no. Ramah says yeshemim. Some people say no. It has to be only on produce. It's a machlekes. Whether this is a drasha gemura that Taanis brings, or it's not a drasha gemura. Now l'maaseh, Taanis in Psachim asked a question over here. Taanis in Psachim, it's a famous Gemara. Taanis says, somebody gives a what's his name? Gives a mishanada, comes to shul, and they come, gets an aliyah, and he says, I'm giving $100, £100 to tzedakah, to charity, bishvil sheyichya b'ni, that my son should have a refuah. My son should have a refuah. So the Gemara, O she'eryeh ben ha'idam haba. So the Gemara, harei zeh tzaddik gomer. He's a tzaddik gomer. So Rashi says, B'davar zeh, in this thing. Okay. Frek Taisus Akasha. How can we call Masada Gomer? Vatnan. We learn Pirkei Avos. Altia Kavodem Meshamshim Mesarav Amanasta Kabel Pras. You can't do mitzvahs in order to get reward. Frek Taisus. How can he say? Why do we call him Masada Gomer? Why is he a Tzaddik Gomer if he gives charity in order that his son should live? Zokta, what's his name? Zoktaisis. Shim lo tavolo also atevish u'metzapa toya mischor outstocker. Because many people, especially goyim, if it's not fulfilled their wish, they're going to be mischored on the tzedakah. They're going to have doubts whether they should have given tzedakah. They're going to have second thoughts about giving the charity. But a person who's willing to give the charity and all on him, even if the Rebbeinu Shem is not going to repay him, okay. So Taisus asks the question, how can we call him Tzaddik Gomer? The Gemara says you have to be a person who's not getting money in order to not doing mitzvahs in order to get schar, and here you're doing a mitzvah of giving the charity in order to get schar. For Akasha, and for Taisus, so what's his name? And for Taisus, that's only a person who's going to have, if he's not going to get his wish, he's going to feel bad about it, and he's going to feel bad that he gave the charity. But a person, if he's not going to feel bad, whatever is going to come out, the end result will be good for him, he'll be happy, then you're allowed to do it. And we're speaking about that type of a person. So the Mashal asks a question over here. The Mashal asks a question. What's Taisus asking a question over here that you're not allowed? That's Taisus' question. It shouldn't be like an Evan serving his master in order to get a reward. You're not allowed to do that. That's what the Mishnah says. Yeah, that's true. But here we're talking about, the Mishnah is talking about, the Gemara is talking about a situation, somebody gives a selah l'tzedakah. He's giving money for charity. No charity, we just said before, that it's a special gzeres hakosa, v'chanuni novazos. You can test the Rebbeinu Shalom. You can test the Rebbeinu Shalom, so why isn't he a tzaddik gomer? So the Mashal and the Mashal and the what's name give different tirutzim. The Mashal says you're allowed to test the Rebbeinu Shalom. It's true. If you give charity, you're allowed to test the Rebbeinu Shalom. But it can only be to see if you're going to get back money. It's not for other things. So this person gave money for what? Amanasha Yichya Bani. He wants his son is sick in the hospital. He wants to give charity in order that this should be a schus for his son. That is not included in Bechanuni Nozos. Bechanuni Nozos is only referring to a situation where he gives tzedakah in order to get the money back. But if he gives tzedakah for other reasons, whatever the reasons are, that is not included in the Heter Bechanuni Nozos. But the Mishnah, that's the Chiddush over here. So the Gemara says, Afal Pekain, he still called it Tzaddik Gomer, because he understands, even if the Rebbeinu Shem won't repay him, he's still giving the tzedakah that should be tzedakah. That's what the what's-his-name says. That's what the Mashal says. The Mashal gives a different heresy. And the Mashal says that B'chanuni Nozos is only in Tvuah. Only in produce of Eretz Yisrael when you're giving Maaser. But here we're saying Avnoisen Sel Azul Tzedakah. He's giving money for Tzedakah. Sel Azul Tzedakah is Maaser Ksafim. On Maaser Ksafim we don't have that B'chanuni Nozos. It's not giving Tzedakah. So we have this L'chara are the 2 days of the Ramah. The Ramah brings 2 days. Do we say the Halacha B'chanuni Nozos in the mitzvah of Tzedakah, even though it's not including Tevuah, or does it have to be only in Maaser, in Maaseres of Tevuah, which are given in Eretz Yisrael? Okay, so we have the 2 days over here. This is the 2 days. The Maaser, according to the Mashal learns the reason. The Mashal says in Shulchan Aruch, the Meforshim bring the Mashal in Shulchan Aruch, the reason that you can test the Rebbeinu Shalom, because about the Torah Akdosha says Aser ta'aser, Aser b'shosha tisasher. If you give Maaser, you'll get the money back. So it's a given thing. The Torah Akdosha says it's given. So you're not testing the Rebbeinu Shalom. It's guaranteed. It's money in the bank. In America we have a thing. You guys are not Americans. You guys are English. But in America it says, "In God we trust." Well, in America it was translated to the dollar we trust. That's the way people translate it in America. God, who's God? God means money. In America, God and money are synonymous. In money we trust. In God we trust. Oh, you give me $1, you'll get the dollar back. That's what it says over here. That's what America says. If you give me $1, I'll give you the dollar back. I'll give you $1 in gold. I'll give you $1 in silver. Okay, that's what's supposed to be. Of course, we know it's not. But in God we trust. And God means in America money. So I'll give you $1, you give me a silver dollar back, or you give me a gold dollar back. Whatever it is, but that's in God we trust. Okay, that's the way. So the Mashal says, being that the Torah Akdosha says, Asa b'shoshet tesasher, so then you can test the Rebbeinu because it's not called testing, it's guaranteed. So according to the Mashal is Shitosa, the Mashal says the only halacha of Bochanuni Nozos is only in Tvuah, only in produce. Produce which is made in Eretz Yisrael, there's a chiyuv of giving trumas and maasers, and Rebbeinu Shalom told you, Aser ta'aser, Aser, give Maaser, b'shoshet tesasher, you will become wealthy from giving it. So the Torah should guarantee it. If it's guaranteed, it's money in the bank. So that's not testing the Rebbeinu Shalom. So it only works with that. It doesn't work in other stocks. So the Mashal is Shitosa. Okay. The Minchas Chinuch says, Minchas Chinuch brings a shaila, and that halacha of Aser b'shoshet tesasher can a chet change the factors. If a person gives stalker money, and then he does an Aveira. Well, the Aveira changed the factors. He brings a Machlekes Rishonim. One man, Yomer says, you gave money, Torah Akdosha says, it's a prophecy. The Torah Akdosha says, give the money and you'll get your money back. If the Torah Akdosha said that, it's written, it's guaranteed. What do you do in Aveira? You don't do an Aveira, it doesn't make any difference. You've got it. It's money in the bank already. If you give the Tvua, it's money in the bank and you'll get it back. So that's what the Mashal says. It's only Tvua. Other Rishonim say no. Most of the time, you'll get it back. But if you do an Aveira, you're not going to get it back. So that would mean it's not the Posek Aser Shetesasher. Doing mitzvahs, you'll get money back. But the Mashal is learning, it's not a what's his name. The Mashal is learning, there's no doubt in it. If you give the money Tvua, Maaser of Tvua, you will get your money back. So that's the Mashal Shita. The Radva says the reason that the Torah Akdosha said Aser b'shoshet tesasher, give the tithe to the poor Levi, is because the Torah doesn't want the poor Levi to suffer. He wants that it should be parnasa for the aniyim. There should be support for the aniyim. That's what the what's his name says. Eino chanami. If a person makes a neder, the Radva says, is a person allowed to make a neder, a vow to give charity? You're not allowed to make vows. Mi'ikra adin, you're not allowed to make a neder. Torah says, don't make a neder. Better not to make a neder than to make a neder and not fulfill it. So better not to make any neder. So what's his name says, so the Radva says you're allowed to be over on that halacha of not making a neder, because for parnasa of Yidden, you're allowed to make a neder. He says, like we find Aser b'shoshet tesasher. So the Radva learns the reason the Torah says if you give a tithe, you will get your money back, is in order there should be parnasa for poor people. That's the whole reason. So if that's the whole reason of parnasa, so it doesn't make any difference whether it's money, whether it's Maaser Ksofim, Maaser Tuor. According to the Ravaz, any money that a person gives in the form of a tithe, he will get his return. His return will be guaranteed. Why? Because it's for parnasa for the aniyim. It's not other reasons involved. That's the main, even though be'emes halacha, you shouldn't do it. But the Torah Akdosha says it's kedai to be over making nedorim just in order to get parnasa from you. So that's the Radva says that's why, even though you're testing the Rebbeinu Shalom, and you shouldn't test the Rebbeinu Shalom, but here it's mutter because the Rebbeinu Shalom wants you to give money in order to get the side benefits. So if your Torah wants to give money, it doesn't make any difference if you give Maaser Ksofim or you give Tvua. Anything that you can give, you will get. So we have a tremendous machlokes. I just want to mention this machlokes one more time. Is the mitzvah of Maaser, mitzvah of Maaser? Is that a mitzvah only in Tvua, only when Eretz Yisrael was the mitzvah, or the mitzvah is in Maaser Ksofim as well? One has to give a tithe from any profits he makes. The nafkamina will be in the following things. If the mitzvah of Maaser, the Torah says, Aser b'shur shetasasher. You'll give Maaser. Rebbeinu Hashem guarantees that whatever you give, you'll get your return back. Does that include also Maaser Ksofim? Does that include stocker money, or does that only include giving Maaser for Tvua, for produce, producing Eretz Yisrael? If the mitzvah of Aser to Aser refers not only to produce, it refers to giving stocker, giving Maaser Ksofim, money. So Enochanami, B'chanuni Nabazos applies to that as well. You can test the Rebbeinu Hashem. If it's only a minig, or if it's only a Rabbanon Dikaloch, you cannot test. You're not allowed to test the Rebbeinu Hashem, only what the Rebbeinu Hashem allows to be tested in Tvua. Okay, and then we have the halacha. What is? Do we say Aser b'shur shetasasher is a guaranteed thing? Avera will not change it, or the Avera will change it. All these halachas are dependent upon the 2 days which the Ramah brings. So when we say what stocker, tshuva, stocker, mavir, nesro like zera, l'chara, that is only according to the shita that what that stocker means maasers, not the stocker of giving money, because you can't change a roag zera through giving stocker. Tshuva will work, but not necessarily stocker. Stocker is a different factor. So if tzedakah works, it's referring to Maaser. But if we're learning that what? That in the mitzvah of Maaser, which is mitzvah really directed on tvua, on grains and produce of Eretz Yisrael, includes other monetary situations, other monetary profits. So in Hanami, in that halacha of giving Maaser money, that's also going to be a person will guarantee a return, and not only guarantee a return, they'll guarantee other schusim as well, like Amanashi Yechevani or the Gzera should become bottle. And those are the 2 days which the Ramah brings over here in Simon Reish Mem Zayin. So listen, giving tzedakah for sure is a great thing. Giving tzedakah to Torah is a great thing. So whatever it is, you're getting a big mitzvah. Whether that mitzvah is going to bring you guaranteed returns or not, that's a different story. But even if it's not bringing you guaranteed returns, but you're getting a tremendous mitzvah, and that mitzvah, Adam Eichel Peroseh B'Olam Maaser, and Bakeren Kayemes Lo Eilam Haba. Sei gesund, sei gebencht.